and the recording is started. So just a little reminder, this is the daily video update for today. So we're not going to have a normal update. This will just be our daily update. And feel free to ask any questions, guys, make any comments. And I'd love to talk about things that you guys are interested in looking at. But I just want to run over a few pairs that I think are the most interesting and have the best potential coming up. Well, good, Carlos. Glad you made it home to be with us for the afternoon. So good to have you. Okay, guys, just a quick little peek. The one thing that I always like to look at and that I like to make sure that we're aware of is number one, we want to see how the U.S. markets are behaving. So just a super fast look at that. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but just about an hour before the close, and markets are overall a little bit positive, but it's been kind of an interesting day. So it looks like the Dow and the S&P are probably going to end up closing pretty close to zero unless there's some spike before the end. So things are kind of just playing out and working out a little bit here. And then just real quick, a look at the news and what we have coming up. Nothing more today, but we do have into tomorrow. We do have a little bit of good stuff happening. So we're going to keep our eye on all of this, and that is core CPI out of Canada, a little bit of Eurogroup meetings, and some public sector net borrowing out of the UK. So nothing huge, but definitely something to kind of get the markets moving a little bit. So we'll keep our eye on that. All right, enough of that mumbo jumbo. We have got some super good setups in the works, and the euro dollar may not end up playing out super well before the end of the week. This might be a little bit more into next week, but the only ones that I really care about right now are the euro dollar and euro yen. I think those are the best setups. Hopefully you guys have been able to watch the daily videos this week and read the daily notes, the UK notes that are privileges to the paying members. Daily videos are available for all, but the UK notes that I post every night a few hours before the UK session have really kind of started getting us a little bit prepared and getting us into some of these trades, some of these bigger runs. So like I said, we're going to spend a little bit more time on the euro dollar and euro yen, but we're just going to review quickly. We had a little bit of a crazy run here, but remember, we were looking for a break of 156.65 in the UK session and a run up, and you can see that we got that. We got some very nice pips on that movement to the upside. A little bit of a wild run, but it's up there and it's running and it's moving. Now, for anybody that might be in this trade, still in this trade, whatever the case may be, there's not too much to talk about as far as an entry goes. I think the entry has kind of come and gone for at least the moment. The target, though, that I'm looking for is this 50% fib right here, and this is about 157.85. So if we look at the daily chart and we see that this big rundown happened right here, and this is coming back up to probably double top a little bit in this 157.85 area, then that should be some good resistance without the fib level there, but with the fib level there, that'll be even better resistance. So watch that 157.85 for the longer term target. That gives us another 60-70 pips on the upside there. So keep an eye on that. And then the Aussie dollar, remember the Aussie dollar from yesterday's video was above 10300. You can see it was a little bit choppy in here, a little bit choppy in the 10300. It was up and down 15 pips or so, and then made a 125 pip run and beyond. And so the Aussie dollar is going crazy good. Again, I don't know how much of an entry I'll be looking for on this one over the next little while. I think it's going to come more down to the targets, and the targets, top of this channel, you can see that our channel extends out nicely into this third daily or fourth daily fib and so on. So I think our targets are somewhere around the 10500 area for kind of the near term stuff. Maybe 104.85. We're going to have some pretty good resistance up there, 10500, 105.50. So anyways, those are just going to be some levels to look at for possible exits on the Aussie dollar trade from the daily videos yesterday and the day before. Now, on to the good stuff. Euro dollar is looking very interesting. Now, it's not that I'm just the biggest euro dollar fan on the planet, although I do like to trade it. But it's got some very good setups in the works, and it's been very interesting. I just keep putting a check mark every single day. I just put a check mark at the low, and here we had a double bottom So I put a check mark, and then we had a higher low, put a check mark, another higher low, check mark, higher low, higher low. And these are all higher lows, except for this double bottom right here. These are all higher lows, which is very indicative of the fact that we're probably starting to look at a little bit of a bottom here on the short term. Now, these big lines that are coming through here, are just our channel wall, and the euro dollar has been reacting very nicely. It's been bouncing around this channel very well, and now it's started to really kind of inch its way out of this area right here, and so so it's breaking out of the channel, it's making these higher lows, it's doing all these things that make me start to think that we're getting a little bit closer to a breakout to the upside than not. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. So the level I want to see, and not to mention this week from the daily videos and the daily notes, we've talked about 122.65 about 100 times, and every time it breaks below that, there's been an entry possibility below, above. We got an entry above 122.65 yesterday, below 122.65 from the notes last night. Same thing from the notes from the UK session. So it's giving us plenty of opportunity to trade above and below. I'm going to kind of stop looking at this level now, although it's played out very nicely, and I'm going to really kind of widen the range a little bit. I don't think I'll do anything on the euro dollar between about 122 and 12300 from now on. I want to get it out of this area, and I think above 12300 is going to be our break and our run towards 12500. Now, whether the euro can make it back to 12500 or not is definitely a big fat question mark, but I think that there's a decent possibility of it. So 12300 is going to be our breaking point. You can see that we had just these two little candles try to open above that 12300. Well, actually, this one closed above and that opened above and gave us a little bit of a spike, and then it came all the way back down again. So I'm just going to keep trading the break of 12300 until it works out, and when it does, it's going to be, should be good for 100 to 200 pips. Of this movement. So you can see that it's really kind of topping out here, broken out of the channel, higher lows, and if we get above this 12300, away we go. Ideally, if possible, I wouldn't hate to see an open on the 4-hour chart above 12300. I think that could be ideal, but I'll take it on the 1-hour chart as well. So looking for that. Now, if it doesn't do much there, again, there's probably a possibility to trade the break of 122.65 once again and trade it down. But like I said, I'm a little more interested now in about 12200 and trading it down into that 121.65, 121.50, and even 120. So not super looking at the downside just yet, but I think that there could be something, if it gets back below 122.65, then breaking 12200 and beyond is definitely in sights. So that's what I'm looking for, but particularly I can't stress enough the importance of 12300. So keep an eye on that and look for a couple of things. If we end up with a pin bar, if we end up with a couple of things, if this pin bar is on the 12300 area, then go short on it and let's trade it from the top back down to any of these levels here. But if it doesn't, then let's look for a break and a continuation up through 12300. Does anybody have any questions, comments? Everything making sense so far? Anything you guys want to add? Any comments? Anything? I don't want to machine gun through this too fast, but I know that we've talked about some of these levels quite a bit in the daily videos every day this week and so on, but I just want to make sure everyone's good with the information. So far so good? Thumbs up? Maybe? Kind of? All right, I'll take your silence as absolute understanding of all levels concerning the euro. All right, okay, good. There's life over there. Excellent. Okay, so that's the euro dollar, and then the euro yen. Remember, the reason we're in this euro yen is this. Really, it comes down to this level right here, which is 96.45. You can see that on the 4-hour chart, the euro yen has come down to 96.45, reversed. 96.45, reversed. 96.45 gave us a little bit of a push, and reversed, and again 96.45, and then it just has consolidated on 96.45, and then we ended up with a very nice little pin bar right here on 96.45, and as Mark said a little bit earlier, we have a very nice little double bottom there, which is around 96.10, 96.15, right in that general area. Now, one thing that I will not like, and one thing that will get me out of this euro yen, is if we get a close below 96.45. We're long right now, the euro yen. We're already in it, but if we get a close below 96.45, I'm not going to like that, and I'll probably exit with a small loss and just kind of wait it out a little bit. I think in the long term it should be pretty good, but it might get a little rough. It might give us a a 30 or 40 pip rundown once again and all of that. So we want to be a little careful there. But so far the double bottom looks great. The pin bar looks great. Everything just looks overall pretty darn good. So we're out of this channel. We've broken out of the channel. We're back down to test support, so now we got to see if we can break this trend line right here and kind of start working our way back up towards some of these upper levels. So that is what we're going to be watching for. Good question, right? Now, what time frame for the euro yen open below? Is that what we're saying? Just to make sure yes, yep, 4-hour chart, exactly, Ray, 4-hour chart. Yeah, so if the euro yen opens below 96.45 on the 4-hour chart, I'll be getting a little uncomfortable with that one, and I won't want to sit that one, sit through that too long. So far, like I said, we have a really nice little pin bar right here, and it's not uncommon to see this thing retrace. So from top to bottom on this pin bar is about 40 pips. So somewhere in this general area is where we should see some retracement, about 90, 96, 30, 35, and that's okay to get down there. But then if we close below this level, remember that 50% retracement of the pin bar for the entry, and that's great. We can get that. But if we close below this all important 96.45, then I'm probably going to jump ship and get back in later, kind of a thing. I don't want to test fate too much on this one, but so far I like how it looks, and I think it looks very, very good. I think we have some good possibilities here. So that's what we're looking for there. And then this one, obviously the main goal is going to be trading it up to 97.25. I don't know if we're going to get quite that high, so I'm going to be targeting a couple of general areas. So we're in this trade right about here. Target number one will probably be our daily pivot, which has been a pretty tough level the last 24 hours, and that's about 96.85. So we're looking about 35, 40 pips on that initial run. But ultimately the goal would be about 75 pips to this 97.25 area. So that's kind of what we're looking for on the euro yen. So those are the ones I'm keeping my eyes the closest on right now. Like I said, I don't think we have too much of an entry on the pound dollar or the Aussie dollar unless we start to get some reversals, and we'll kind of talk about that as the notes go and so on. But for the moment, I think we're really going to focus on getting some entries on the euro dollar if we can get out of that channel. And for anybody that's not in this euro yen already, we'll see if we can get in on this guy for those that aren't in, and ride it up into the upper part of this channel. So that's what we're looking at there. And then once again, we're keeping our eye on gold. Gold's broken this trend line. Gold is completely stuck at about, well, just below 1600. So that's just about 1600, and it's totally stuck below that level, but it's also not really breaking much lower than about 1555. So it's just bouncing around here. It's broken this little short-term trend line, and I think we'll get a little bit of short-term downward movement. So we'll keep our eye on that. And I'm actually short gold, so just FYI. And I know I don't talk to you guys about gold too much as far as taking an entry, but I'm short gold right here, and I'm looking to ride it back down into some of this support here. So keep an eye on that. But so far, it's going to be about the euro dollar and euro yen, and that's what we're going to be looking at. So that's what the focus is going to be on. We'll have some UK notes tonight. I'll probably as always, I check in every night for the UK session. It's just I post notes, and if there's nothing too much too different than what I wrote in the notes, I try to put a very detailed explanation in those notes. And if things are not changing much from that, then I don't stay on too long. But I'll be checking in once again tonight, as I always do. And if things are moving well and looking a little bit different from what I've posted, then we'll have a live UK session. Otherwise, we'll have notes tonight and a US session tomorrow morning. Does anybody have any questions, any comments, anything they want to address, go after, have a look at, anything like that? While you're thinking about that, remember for anybody that's new and visiting for the first time, again, welcome, welcome. And if you're interested in joining our trading group for a free trial, we're on for, we're on Monday through Friday. You can get a 5-day free trial right there. I'd suggest doing it, probably Sunday night, Monday morning kind of a thing. Sunday night is probably good, and that gives you the whole week to join us. But it's no money, no obligation, no nothing, just a 5-day free trial, and you can get that from right there. And otherwise, we're going to keep an eye on these trades and see where these guys go, and keep an eye on Twitter. Make sure if anybody is not following me on Twitter, you can also do that at there we go, and you can get the kind of the most updated information on Twitter from right there. I also will post a daily video and so on at that Day Traders FX on Twitter. So thanks a bunch, guys. Thanks for being on, and happy pipping.